Everybody, what's going on? How you doing? Listen, I got questions all the time, folks starting out, I got a deal. Now what, right? So this video, that's what this video is about. If you have a deal, you think you have a deal, pay close attention, get a pen and paper out, and I'm gonna walk you through it. Okay, there's some very critical steps that you need to be paying attention to when you get a deal, okay, or you think you have a deal. Okay, so this is specifically for a wholesale fix and flip kind of deal, or even if it's for a buy and hold guy. So bottom line, how you make money in this business is you provide a service to a seller by solving their problem. George's wife is down at COVID, uses illustration many times. His kids and grandkids are in Miami. So if you can help George get to Miami, so he's not lonely anymore, you have a really good shot of getting a house deal. Okay, so you're solving George's problem. So when you see a distressed house, whatever, just because it's distressed or just because you think it's a great deal doesn't mean anything until you know what the seller's problem is, and then you can offer a solution, right? That's the first thing. You're offering a service to the seller. The second way you make money is obviously providing a service for a cash buyer, all right, or a buyer who's looking for something to rehab, or and maybe for a buy and hold situation. Okay, but that presupposes you know what they're looking for. Okay, the buyer, and so when you're starting out, I see a lot of people out there trying to building a buyer's list or buying a list of these are cash buyers, or are they joining those websites for Facebook groups for cash buyers. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's good. Although I would say I don't think you need to go out and buy a bunch of lists for cash buyers just yet. Facebook groups are a great way to go. But the most important thing is to actually spend some time talking with the buyer, okay? Not texting them or calling them. You can call, but physically go out and meet them at their job site and get to know what their criteria is, what they're building, right? And get to know the business model. I've done a lot of videos, a lot of training on getting to know a buyer's business model. Okay, so again, this video is about what to do if you have a deal. So I just want to get the foundation set up for you, so you remember, like, the most important thing is to solve the seller's problem and also the buyer's problem. And the buyer's problem is you've got to know what the problem is, right? By get to know what they're looking for. Okay, and so why is this important? Because now let's say you know how to solve the seller's problem, help them get to Miami. Well, you're gonna have to give them a number. Like, the question is, elephant in the room. Well, what should I offer that person, right? Well, that really depends on what your cash buyer is willing to go for. So typically, I mean, I've done this for a long time, and the rule of thumb that I've used. Again, this is a rule of thumb. It can change really depending on the market and the neighborhood and so on and so forth. But typically, about 70% of the ARV. Okay, so easy math. If a house, the after repair value is $200,000, you're as a cat as a wholesaler, you need to realize your cash buyer is going to want to be in that project no more than $140,000. What do I mean by project? I mean, but if the house needs 40 grand worth of work, they're going to want to buy that property, buy the house, or the contract from you, the house and a contract, right, from you, for at 100 grand, and then put 40 into it, and then they have that cushion, that 30% cushion that allows them to sell it, pay for closing costs, real estate commissions, their money costs, and then also the profit. Okay, so that's typically where they want to be at. Now, some cash buyers may want to be less than that. They may go, dude, I'm not buying. I don't like this neighborhood. It's too risky. I want to be in about 60%. Okay, so if it's a 60%, if it's a $200,000 sale, ARV sale price, they're going to want to be in that project 120 grand, right? Some people might be a little bit more aggressive. I've been more aggressive because I've sold 3 houses already in the neighborhood. I know they're so quick, or I have my guys lined up. I'll pay a little bit more for a house just because I like the area and I'm confident I can get it sold. Does that make sense? What I just described to you is a nuance that only I know because I know my business model is, right? And it's your job. The onus is on you as a professional wholesaler to get to know that cash buyer's business model. Does that make sense? Okay, so you can know what to offer. That's where I'm going with this. Okay, because if all you have is some spreadsheet evaluator software you bought online, and there's a lot of them out there, and they're great. I'm not trash talking them at all, by any by any means. But if you don't really get to know a buyer's business model, it's kind of a crapshoot. You hopefully you got the cost for the roof correct. Hopefully you have the right amount for the air. It needs a new air conditioning, and you're in Houston, Texas. You got to know that, right? So you get my point. Okay. So you want to know what those costs are because your cash buyers is going to ask you because this was going to happen. You're going to have to give an offer to the seller, okay, and it's got to include. It's going to be the discount, but you've got to know that math. So when you make a call to your cash buyer or you put it on Facebook or whatever, you know that they're going to want to fund the deal, okay. So it's really important that you know kind of what that rehab is. And you may say to me, well, okay, I'm ready to go. The seller wants to sell. What do I do? What kind of offer do I give them? Well, what does the house need? Well, and then you're going to go, well, it needs windows, it needs roof, it needs new septic tank, needs all these things. What's it going to cost me? And I'm going to answer to you, that we can kind of have a vague, not a vague. We have a general idea of what things are going to cost. But again, getting to know what your buyer would do, what he could or she could do, is really going to help you. For example, the house needs a new roof. Well, okay, yeah, you can put a new roof on there for 12, 15 grand. I mean, it really depends on what your market you're in and the cost of roofs and stuff. But what if your cash buyer's like, man, I'll just do a roof overlay. Okay, it's huge savings, you know. So instead of a $15,000 roof, it's $4 grand or something. You see that. So you just want to know what these costs are. So where am I going with this? I'm simply saying this. You want to write this down. When you're looking at a house, especially for repairs, the more information you know from your buyer builder or your flipper, right? How much they pay for stuff, it's going to help you when you put the offer into the seller. Does that make sense? So you really, really, really want to know that. I can't emphasize that enough, okay? Because otherwise your numbers are wrong. I can't tell you how many times I get calls from people and their numbers are off. No one wants to buy this house, man. I'm looking for buyers. No one wants to buy it. Well, maybe because what you're giving a buyer is not profitable for them, right? So you really want to know that. I can't emphasize how important that is. So go to the buyer, go to the job site, bring your camera, your phone, whatever, okay, and your spreadsheet, and take notes. How much pay for those cabinets? How much pay for that? That bathroom, that kind of thing, right? So whatever the roof and plumbing, right? And so that's important. The cost, okay? You want to know what the cost is, so you know what the seller's problem is, and the buyer what he's wanting to buy it for, and his cost to build or fix it, right? So those are really important. You need to know those numbers and make sure that they match. And then again, 70% of the ARV. And when you talk to the seller now, and you're armed with this information, you can speak with intelligence and say, look, I know, Mr. Seller, I know you want $200,000 for this house, but I mean, man, you got a green bathtub and a pink sink and mold in the attic and termites, and the house is not financeable. You got earth to dirt around here. I can't give you that kind of money. We both know I can't give you that kind of cash, but what I can do is give you an offer right now, so we close next week, so you could be on the plane to Miami by Tuesday to live with your grandkids. How would that make you feel, right? You are solving that seller's problem, so that's very important that you understand that. Okay, so a couple things. That's the foundation. What is the seller's problem? What is the buyer's problem? Okay. That being said, now that you think you know both of those, okay, whenever you look at a deal, you've got to get some comps. And you may say, well, I'll just get on PropStream or Redfin or Zillow or whatever. And look, you can do that. You do whatever you want. Okay. But if you've never worked with a cash buyer before, it's way more professional, and the chances of you getting your deal bought are exponentially higher if you can give them a comparative market analysis of that property that you've got from a real estate agent. Okay, that's very important. That will help you so much. Okay, you want to know that value. Okay, now here's a question people say. Well, when I'm looking at these comps, the agent's asking me, well, what kind of finishes are we going to do for this house? Because that's really will affect the ARV. Okay, and that's a very fair question. You need to think about that. Okay, when you talk to the agent, and you want to get the agents, especially. That's why I'm exhorting you to build a relationship with a real estate agent. Okay, and you can refer people to them. That kind of thing is a hook to have them want to work with you. That's going to help you so much better than just some like numbers on Zillow, right? Or Redfin or PropStream or what have you. Okay, or even tax records. It's really important to know the nuances of the market. Real estate agents know that market. So here's what I mean by that. If you add, you know, just basic, you rehab a house at a basic level, maybe the value is only $200,000. But if you add some nice new windows and you some more open spaces, that kind of thing, maybe it's worth 210 or 220. Maybe if you put nicer finishings in there, it's in a really nice neighborhood, and that's what people are going to expect. So the value can go up. Does that make sense? Another thing, think about this, like bathrooms and square footage. A great strategy. If every house in the neighborhood, whatever, is a 3-2 or a 4-2, and yours is a 3-1, okay, you're gonna have a hard time selling that house. The one is the bathroom. People don't. Well, this is 1950 anymore, right? I learned this the hard way. I bought a house, and a probate house, and my buddy in there. And he redid the house, beautiful house, beautiful bathroom, gorgeous bathroom, the nicest bathroom you ever met. He was high end, man, travertine, the whole thing. The problem was there was one bathroom in that house. It was a nice bathroom, nicest bathroom you've ever been to, but there was one bathroom, and I had a hard time selling it, getting all the value. There was one bathroom. So here's the point. Listen to me. If you put $5,000 into that bathroom to add a new bathroom, okay, you can get another $30,000-$40,000 maybe for the house, right? Well, maybe not that much. You may say that's not how it works for our man. My market, okay, fine. Do the math then. You put $5,000 into a bathroom, can you get $10,000 back? Oh, you can? Well, you made some money then, can't you? Didn't you, right? So that's important to know. Add another bathroom if there's only one bathroom. So that's going to affect your comps. You can comp it with a 3-1, for example, but look at what it would be if it was a 3-2. Well, it means you have to add a bathroom. Okay, then add a bathroom and tell it to your cash buyer. Hey, you're good at adding bathrooms. I know you're adding a bathroom on 465 Peach Street. Well, and it costs you $1,200 for the rough in, so you can do it here. Does that make sense? Okay. So adding a bathroom is a big deal. Another one is square footage. See if you can get some free square footage. I've had some properties sometimes where I've had like larger garages or multiple garages, and so what was able to do is convert a garage into livable square footage. By the permits, I had to put a stem wall in where the garage deal is. Okay, to chisel it out, all that stuff. Some money, but I was able to double the square footage of the house and made a whole bunch of money. So there's some money there. you put in that cash. $10,000 to finish a garage, or $15,000, but you get $40,000-$50,000 back. Does that make sense? Okay. So these kinds of things are going to help you with comps. All right. So that's where we're at. Okay. So just so on the same page, the question you have in the very beginning is, what am I going to do? I think I have a deal now. What? So you want to know what your buyers and sellers problem is, first of all. Okay. So you can give them an offer. All right. And say, listen, I'm solving your problem. 2, what is your buyer's problem? What is it going to cost them to fix it up? What are they looking for? Okay. And then 3, what is the comps on that property? Once you have that, maybe hey, if you had another bathroom in here, Mr. Cash Buyer, this house is gonna be worth a lot more. You're gonna be able to make a lot more money on that. Okay, so that's what you want to know. So then the last thing, once you You know the seller's problem, the buyer's problem, and the ARV. Okay, then you just want to get to know. Okay, put the offer in based on what your buyer will do. Okay, and he's probably going to be around 70%, and then make sure you have your your assignment fee put in there. Okay, that's the last thing we're talking about. Really quick is just your assignment fee is going to be commensurate with the value of the house. So if you have $100,000 home fixed up and you're trying to make 20 grand as an assignment fee, you can. It's not illegal, but no. I mean, be transparent to your buyer. Share that profit with the buyer. They're the ones taking all the risks, right? But if you're wholesaling a $400,000 home, yeah, sure, 20, 30, 40 grand, no problem, right? Okay, so I hope that helps. Listen, if you have any questions, you have a deal you want to go over, whatever you just let me know. We go down here, schedule below, and we'll have a free strategy session. And if you want to talk about some JV or mentorship or whatever, let me know too. But you can do this in God's speed. We'll see you in the next video. Talk to you soon.